Very good evening, friends. Meeting after a big gap, some after summer holidays. Before the holidays, we have started discussing about the suppression chapter. In fact, in last lecture, we have finished that chapter, but it was not recorded properly at that time. And that's why it was not properly uploaded. So I thought that it will be a little bit revision for us, but we'll start with the same chapter in the part 2 and we'll continue with it so that the concept becomes more clear in our mind regarding the suppression, and that will be useful for homeopathic fraternity forever. So I have decided to start the chapter from the page number 159 in Robert's philosophy. The second paragraph we have finished, we have to start with third. But before going to that paragraph, just one revision that what is suppression. Suppression is nothing but transformation of disease from less important organ to the more important organ due to due to the some measures which are applied locally for the disorder. So any disorder which is presenting on the surface and treated with local measures, and when it disappears from that place and enters inside, involving the vital organs, it is nothing but the suppression. In another words, the same word is used by the modern science in the form of metastasis. So this, but here in metastasis, it is the same pathology which has been reflected over there. Here it can develop anything new. It is a broad concept which includes one part of as a metastasis. And that's why suppression we have to understand. The concept of suppression as elaborated by Hahnemann a way back is still today we used to find it out it as it is. Today only in my OPD, I had a case who had a brain pathology with imbalanced sensation. Imbalanced sensation, he was not able to walk properly. He requires the support since last 4 years. And patient's age is not so much. He is just 50 to 53. But he has developed that. And just I observed that he was having big eczema on left lower extremity. So asked what you are taking the treatment, whether you are taking treatment for that. He said that we have taken lot of treatment. Many ointments have been applied. It is since childhood I am having that. And that has been suppressed, entered into the brain where the brain parenchyma is showing some changes. And because of which he developed such imbalanced sensation. So disease is transformed from the skin directly toward the brain in such types of condition. It's a suppression. And such suppression is very dangerous. If you understand this suppression is responsible to produce the disease, it is your duty to tell the patient priorly that he may get that same symptoms again. I want the patient, if it reappears, let it reappear. So that, just a minute, so that patient will not apply the same ointments to the patient to that eruptions again, because he was in the habit of using those, and patient should not go for it. And that's why it is too much necessary to understand the patient's concepts clearly and go ahead. So we have finished up to the page number 159, the part second paragraph we have finished. Let us go with the third, what he says. Another form of suppression that is very frequently seen in the external application of drug preparations for the removal of skin manifestations such as eczema. Just example we have discussed. These skin manifestations can be removed by external use of drug preparations. This, however, does not cure the disease condition, and the chronic miasm that has been expressed through the skin manifestation is forced to hide its head, but it surely will still be present in the organism and express it in some deeper and more vital part, nearer the center of the vitality. In this course of treatment is persistently continued and condition continually suppressed, the patient becomes nearly impossible of cure. And this is how a patient, curable patient, can enter into the incurable phase. Skin manifestation which are curable now become suppressed. Patient entered into the vital organ, brain, heart, and patient becomes incurable. The danger from this suppression is very great. For longer they are suppressed, the more likely they are to take on nervous and mental manifestations, striking at the very seat of the life and reason, and they're expressing itself. And this is what is happening. They are going from less important organ to the very more important organ, producing a disorder over there. And this is how it develops. Hahnemann's Organon, paragraph 61, gives us the following. Had physicians correctly observed and considered the deplorable results of the antibiotic applications of medicine, they would long ago have discovered the great truth that the true method of performing permanent cures must be exact counterpart of such antibiotic treatment. So what he is saying that if you open the aphorism number 61, you'll find it out the futility of the antibiotic treatment. Antibiotic treatment never cures. Definitely it palliates. It palliates many times instantly. But if you go on continuously palliating the things, it disappears from that seat, enters somewhere inside, and expresses as a new disorder, showing its presence in the more vital organs and producing more and more danger to the human life. This long continued antibiotic treatment can lead to suppression. They would have perceived that whenever the opposite or antibiotic administration of medicine produced a brief period of elevation, this would subside only to be followed by one of aggravation, and that consequently the process should have been reversed. That is to say, the homeopathic application of medicines, according to their symptom similitude, would have brought about lasting and perfect cure, provided that instead of large quantities of medicine, the most minute doses had been employed. Notwithstanding the experience of many centuries, physicians did not recognize this great and salutary truth. They appear to have ignored entirely the results of treatments of above described, as well as other facts that no physician ever effected a permanent cure of ever inveterate disease, unless some drug of predominant homeopathic effect had been by chance embodied in his prescription. Nor were they able to comprehend that every rapid and permanent cure accomplished by nature without the aid of human skill was always produced by similar disease coming to the one already present. So he is explaining this. If you apply the antibiotic measure, it will not going to cure the patient. It temporarily elevate. Elevate means temporarily subside. It produces palliative effect. But if that effect, if you go on continuously palliating the things, it enters inside. It goes inside, affects the very vital organ. Many times, some cures have been achieved, and people think that this has been because of antibiotic measure. No. He explains over there that in the mixture of using the drugs, one of the ingredient might be similar to the patient's condition, which because of which patient might have shown the permanent cure. Otherwise, it is impossible. And this happened many times. Even Hahnemann have given many examples of such types of accidental cures which happened in nature. And every time, if you look towards how it has cured, then you will find that it has very similar symptoms that that of the natural disease, and because of which that got cured. If you want a permanent cure, there is only one method, that is symptom severity, which you have to apply. No antibiotic measure or no allopathic measure will going to produce a permanent result in the patient. And then he further adds, another source of suppression is attempt by to suppress the natural secretions of the body, like the perspiration in the armpits and the perspiration of the feet by the use of medicinal powers. And this is nowadays is very marked. People are using tremendous deodorants. What do? They suppress their perspiration. And if you suppress, if you stop those outlets, which are excretory outlets, the excretory products remains inside. And you know what turmoil it causes. It causes more danger to the human being. They are very dangerous. No one knows that, but they are using more and more deodorants. They are using more and more medicinal powders. This forbids the elimination of waste matter through the natural channels, and this waste must be taken up in other parts of the body. And the attempt made to eliminate them through these other channels. In this way, much harm may be done. And while the local suppressions may be entirely successful, the constitutional manifestations are inimical to health. What he is explaining that if you try to hide or suppress those eliminations, the waste products, those accumulate in the body. They find their way somewhere else. If they enters into the vital organs, they produces the constitutional effects on the body. Such a danger can happen. Under the suppression of secretions, we often find the suppression of menses by cold bath or by sudden suppression of sweat by plunging in for cooling swim after the exertion or in hot weather. Here, too, we find the resulting action of the vital force, with the disturbance taking on grave and even dangerous form. And such types of separations are always we can see. In our Matra Medica, they are mentioned. Suppressed foot sweat producing amenorrhea. Suppressed skin eruptions producing um, some manifestations in brain. Such a grave condition such as SSP, subserosal panencephalitis. Very dangerous disorders can develop because of suppression of such secretions. And if you stop those secretions by local measures, it always enters into the vital organs. I have seen many in my 33, 34 years of practice, and those are very dangerous. What he says further, a frequent form of suppression in modern days is the removal of disturbing organ by surgical means. Again, forbidding the expression of vital force through its chosen organs, where it has expressed itself in a diseased state of tonsils, the teeth, the sinuses, and other parts of the economy. The particular disturbance is shown by the symptom picture of the patient. In removing the tonsil, the teeth, or the organs, other organs by surgical operation, we are dealing with the end products and not with the vital energy. So if patient is having recurrent tonsillitis, if the patient is having chronic toothache, if the patient is having appendicitis, what do? They remove the organ. But they never considers what is the cause behind that. They never considers what is the disease. They considers only these end products where the disease has changed the structure over there, and that is the end product. If you remove the tonsil, disease remains as it is. If you remove the appendix, the disease will remain as it is. If there is a fibroid on the uterus, if you remove the uterus, there will be some growth somewhere else because you have not removed the disease behind that. And such type of suppression is again hazardous producing metastasis. We are cutting off the manifestations of disease and are doing nothing to set in order the vital energy or to prevent further disease manifestation. These disease conditions have developed and as an expression of inward turmoil and distress under which the whole individual suffers. So if you do such types of suppression in the form of removing the organ, it develops more and more internal disorders, more in the more vital organs, ultimately ending with the life of the person. These are but few of the common suppression caused by either physician or layman or for circumstances, and but few of the forms are that are constantly made. It is the privilege of homeopathic physician to relieve these distressed conditions and to set the vital energy in order, thus enabling it to function properly. So if you understand such types of suppression are present and which are responsible to produce a present state of the patient, if you find it out, write remedy to the patient depending upon his considering his whole case, and if you give that, he is the only person and his medicine is the only medicine which brings back again the original suppression, the original discharges, original eruptions, and if it again reappears on the surface, you have won half of the battle. Then patient's internal vital organs become safe. And when it reflects on the surface, it never causes the death of the human being. Yes, it might be troublesome for the patient for time being, but it is always useful for his life. And such thing you have to warn the patient when you are treating with homeopathy. If you are dealing with chronic cases, always tell them anything such type of thing, if it appears, don't go for any allopathic medicine. And then he says, no greater crime can be committed against the human economy than to aid and abet these suppressions. There, for these may be the direct cause of many constitutional diseases, and symptoms are in their natural state, always the expression of constitutional condition. Suppression is the source of many functional disturbances. So he explains over there, if you try to hide those suppressions by local measures, it is the big crime. You are producing more constitutional disorders in the human being if you do such type of suppression. But if you try to treat it with homeopathic medicines internally and bringing that suppression out, yes, you are on the path of cure. Patient will again go into the state of recovery and his original features comes out, and then you treat that original features with the help of your internal medicines. And to conclude the chapter of suppression, what he says, the homeopathic physician is the only physician who is equipped to deal with these conditions for his province, and the fundamental principle of his work is proper coordination and normal functioning of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And it is only when the three spheres of man coordinate to develop in their normal way that harmony and health can be maintained and preserved. So if you give a right remedy to the patient, depending upon the patient's condition, it is the only medicine which brings back again the original trinity of life, that is mind, body, and soul, and which starts functioning in harmony and bringing the healthy state of the person. See how nicely in a simple language Robert has tried to explain the concept of separation. So if you understand this concept clearly, then you will understand how to treat the suppression and how to bring back again the original natural disease and then treat it with the internal medicine. So this is another chapter which we have finished from the H.A. Robert. Tomorrow we're going to learn the law of palliation again from the Robert's book. So another important concept, the palliation concept, which he has explained with his own way in this chapter. So here we have concluded the chapter numbers 18 or 19, suppression. Tomorrow we'll start with new chapter. And today evening we're going to meet again with a new remedy, a remedy from animal kingdom, that is the Naja tripledum. So we're going to learn it from Allen's, even though it has been very small remedy mentioned by Allen, but still the clinical aspect we're going to learn a lot in today's session. So that's all for today. Thank you being there, and meet again in the evening session, and we'll continue with our efforts of giving as much as knowledge and sharing as much as knowledge regarding the organon and remedy with all of you. Thank you and good evening.